seconds, which is certainly a decent pace at this stage, looking at everybody else around them. Verstappen did a 1:22.9 a moment ago, but he is still on the soft tyre, so there's no direct comparison.
Rear right of Lewis Hamilton's car, the tyre looking horribly blistered, and the same for Sergio Perez. Big blisters on the Pirelli tyre. Soft tyre for Perez, medium tyre for Hamilton. Pretty much exactly the same line of blistering.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because the right rear here in Spain mostly works through the slow corners. The left rear is working harder through the fast corners. So it's interesting to see that.
Yeah, the left front takes a lot of pain, but clearly the right rear, a lot of difficult traction zones coming out of the left-handers, and clearly getting just balling up and blistering with surface temperature coming through.
Of course, that turn 10, as we've seen, they're carrying a lot of speed through there. That might be changing the way the heat affects that right rear, I suppose.
Yeah, a bit more energy going through the right rear, because it's now also not really a straight line traction zone up towards turn 11, where it used to be hard on the brakes in a straight line, turn it, get the car pointing straight as soon as possible and just accelerate up towards 11 and 12. Now that acceleration zone, there's no straight line. The corner just keeps arcing round, and therefore you're struggling a lot more for traction. Pirelli tyres never like accelerating and turning at the same time, but you're forced to do it exited turn 10, and that's putting a lot of difficulty to the right rear.
Well, Max has been in, swapped over from the soft to the medium pole. He's come right out in front of teammate Sergio Perez, which isn't really going to help Perez. And Perez has a group of cars following him around, as the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari going through. So a bit busy out there.
Yeah, not ideal for Perez that Verstappen comes out right in the way, but Verstappen's about to be much quicker than these guys, pitting for a new set of medium tyres, so he doesn't want to be letting them go and then basically being blocked for the next few laps as well. There is only going to be a couple of flying laps in it for Verstappen, but he at least wants to get a nice read on the balance shift, going from a worn soft tyre to a new medium.
Into the pits has come Daniel Ricciardo. I was looking at something earlier, Jolyon, about driving that hairpin at turn 5. You got that first fast sequence of corners in the early part of the lap, and then there's that left-hand downhill hairpin. And it was saying, I don't know if you found this when you were racing here, that in qualifying it was quite important to get right into the apex of that turn 5. But when looking after tyres, sometimes people run a little wider.
Okay, Nicky, that was a much better lap. This is your last lap. Management is good, just a bit more slip management turn 5. Slip management turn 5, rest is good.
The apex goes is probably one that you can get away with running a little bit wider on. It's slightly cambered. You can run a bit of speed. You don't want to go wetlining it around the outside. You can barrel in a little bit more speed and sometimes just run a little wider. It doesn't hurt you as much. I never really found that in terms of tyre life, particularly in terms of intentionally trying to do that, but certainly it's a bit more forgiving in that way of if you don't absolutely hook it up, the natural camber of the corner allows you to keep the minimum speed up and get you around the corner without losing a huge amount of time, really. Tricky corner though, easy to lock up the left front, particularly because if you are barreling speed into the apex, it is a downhill.
Must remember this lap.
That's Lewis Hamilton. Must remember this lap, was he saying?
Yeah, there must be something that he's done at the wheel that he wants to go back and look at to see if there's an improvement or not.
Well, the checker flag is out, and Hamilton has ended this session with the fastest time of all, a fraction faster than his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Those times were set earlier on, of course, on the soft tyres. But it is a Mercedes 1-2 in second practice, but Max Verstappen didn't get to complete his fastest lap, so we haven't been able to see really what his pace was like. Charles Leclerc has ended up third fastest ahead of Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso in the Alpine cars. Very impressive from Alpine today. Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauris, teammates there, 6th and 7th, with Carlos Sainz in 8th for Ferrari, 9th place for Verstappen, out of position. Clearly he has pace, but it didn't quite work for him on his fast lap. Perez down in 10th. So not a great afternoon for Red Bull with their cars 9th and 10th. Outside the top 10, we had Sebastian Vettel, Lando Norris. He is 12th fastest ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi. Then Lance Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo in 15th place. Kimi Raikkonen 16th, George Russell in 17th. And the field completed by Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin.
Thank you very much for that. Another session flies by in Barcelona. We'll have another practice tomorrow morning for you at 11, and then qualifying gets underway at 2 o'clock. A surprise there, Jolyon, for McLaren. We're so used to them seeing now sort of up in the top 5 or 6 cars, but didn't seem to have a flowing session for themselves.
No, they look better in FP1, and they were a good chunk away from it in this practice session, pretty much swapping places with Alpine, who were right there.
Okay, easy on the way in, please, Max. Easy on the way in. Stay off the curbs. Stay off the curbs. Just picked up some front right in. Okay, easy on the way in, please, Max. Easy on the way in. Stay off the curbs. Stay off the curbs. Just picked up some front right end plate damage. We don't want it to fall off.
No doubt taking 2 bigger curbs and damaging the front wing second time this weekend.
We've spoken about how close this battle is between Mercedes and Red Bull. How much damage has this session been then potentially towards their weekend? Because for Red Bull, have they taken their foot off the gas at a time which is crucial?
I don't think you can say they've taken their foot off the gas. They've not had their strongest day.
Literally, Verstappen took his foot off the gas and backed out.
Oh, yeah, he has now because he was told to. But overall, it's not their strongest day. But remember, Verstappen on 1 lap pace can be there or thereabouts. 1 lap pace will rule the day this weekend. The worry for Red Bull is Perez is nowhere this weekend so far.